Emma Clark learned early that people wanted to be useful. They wanted to feel chosen. She didn't flirt the way movies showed it. No exaggerated smiles, no obvious games. She did something quieter. She made people feel necessary. Daniel Harris had been necessary his entire life. Teachers leaned on him. Classmates copied from him. His parents spoke of him like proof that effort mattered. When Emma asked him for help, it didn't feel dangerous. It felt familiar. "Could you explain how you solved question 5? She asked one afternoon, standing beside his desk while others packed their bags. Her voice wasn't playful. It was earnest, almost unsure. Daniel looked at her notes. They were half done, messy in a way that suggested she had tried. "Yeah," he said immediately. "I can show you." She pulled up a chair. That was how it started. Not with cheating, with understanding. Over the next week, Emma asked questions that slowly changed shape. "I get the concept," she said one day, frowning at her notebook. "I just don't know how to write it properly." Daniel leaned closer, pointing. "You can phrase it like this." She copied. Another day. "Our answers are supposed to be similar, right? I don't want to lose marks for formatting." Daniel hesitated. "They shouldn't be identical." She laughed softly. "Of course not. Just aligned." He told himself it was fine. Everyone studied together. Everyone shared approaches. When the internal assessment was announced, a take-home assignment, Emma sighed dramatically. "I'm terrible under pressure," she said. "You're lucky you're good at this." "I can help you plan," Daniel offered before thinking. That night, he sent her an outline. The next night, a solved sample. By the third night, he was sending explanations that looked suspiciously complete. Emma never asked outright. She didn't need to. When the results came back, Emma scored a near-perfect mark. Daniel's paper was flagged. The similarity report showed his answers had been accessed first, sent digitally, and Emma's submission matched in structure, phrasing, even mistakes that had been corrected later. When the committee called Daniel in, he was genuinely confused. "I didn't submit her work," he said. "I helped her understand." "Did you send her completed solutions?" one teacher asked. Daniel hesitated. "Yes." "Were you aware the assignment was meant to be independent?" "Yes." That was all they needed. Emma was never called in. When questioned later, she said calmly, "Daniel explained concepts to me. I wrote everything myself." No proof said otherwise. Daniel didn't go to Lily immediately. He went home, sat on his bed, and stared at the wall until it got dark. Lily had known Daniel since they were 9, since scraped knees and shared lunches and long walks home. She knew the sound of his silence. She found him behind the gym 2 days later. "You didn't tell me," she said, not accusing. "I didn't know how," he replied. She sat beside him, close but not touching. "You didn't cheat," she said. "You trusted someone who knew how to make that feel normal." That was Lily. She named things gently. She didn't tell him to forget Emma. She didn't tell him to be angry. She just stayed. Emma heard about the suspension in fragments, whispers, looks, a teacher mentioning academic integrity too loudly. She felt no rush of guilt, only irritation. Not at Daniel, at inconvenience. When he stopped her in the corridor days later, she already knew what he was going to say. "They suspended me," he said, voice unsteady. She tilted her head. "For helping me?" "For cheating." She exhaled, annoyed. "You shouldn't have sent me full solutions. You used them." She looked at him then, really looked. "You offered them." The distinction mattered to her. "I trusted you," he said. She didn't raise her voice. "That's not the same as responsibility." And she walked away, certain the matter was closed. Daniel didn't return to school for the first 2 days of his suspension. Not because he wasn't allowed to. The suspension was academic, not physical, but because he didn't know who he would be if he walked back in. For years, he had been the reliable one. The boy teachers trusted. The name classmates mentioned when they needed help. Now his name carried a pause after it. Lily noticed the change before he said anything. He stopped explaining things the way he used to. Stopped correcting mistakes. Stopped raising his hand even when he knew the answer. "You don't have to disappear," she said one afternoon as they sat under the stairs, away from everyone else. I already have, Daniel replied. That scared her more than anger would have. Emma, meanwhile, adjusted effortlessly. When a few classmates stopped asking her for help, others stepped in to replace them. When someone hinted about Daniel, she responded with practiced neutrality. It's unfortunate, she'd say. He made his own choices. People nodded. It sounded reasonable. She didn't think about Daniel at night. Didn't replay his face. What lingered instead was something else. A memory she hadn't planned to keep. Noah Reed's voice. Cruel. She hadn't been called that before. Not directly. Not by someone who didn't want anything from her. Noah had always been around the edges. He didn't sit with a group. Didn't float between conversations. He occupied the same desk by the window every day, backpack always zipped, books always aligned. Daniel had noticed him once or twice before, mostly because Lily did. Not romantically. Not obviously. She just spoke to Noah the way she spoke to people she trusted to listen. After the suspension, that changed slightly. Noah didn't ask Daniel questions. Didn't offer advice. He just nodded when Daniel sat nearby, like he was saying I see you, without making it a thing. That mattered more than Daniel expected. One evening, Lily walked Daniel home. You know, she said carefully, you didn't do this because you're weak. He scoffed. Then why did I? She stopped walking. Because she made you feel useful. Daniel looked at her. You already were, Lily continued. You just forgot. That night, Daniel slept for the first time in days. Emma noticed Noah again during lunch. He was sitting alone, reading, ignoring the noise around him like it didn't exist. She watched him longer than she meant to. When he looked up, their eyes met. She didn't look away. Neither did he. There was no challenge in his gaze. No accusation. Just awareness. Emma felt something shift. Not guilt. Not attraction. Recognition. For the first time, she was being seen without being desired. She didn't like how exposed that felt. The next time Emma passed Lily in the hallway, Lily didn't move aside the way she used to. They collided, lightly, but deliberately. Watch where you're going, Emma said automatically. Lily looked at her. Calm. Steady. You should say that to yourself. Emma opened her mouth and closed it again. Because Lily wasn't angry. She was done. Daniel slowly started speaking again. Not in class. Not publicly. But with Lily. With Noah. Occasionally. Short exchanges, nods, shared silence. The world hadn't ended. It had just narrowed. Emma watched this from a distance. She noticed how Daniel laughed a little more easily now. Not freely, but honestly. How Lily leaned toward him when she spoke. How Noah walked beside them sometimes, never in between. Emma felt something unfamiliar press against her ribs. Not jealousy. Not yet. Something closer to being left behind. Emma Clark had always known who mattered in a room. She noticed the ones who spoke too loudly to hide insecurity. The ones who followed without thinking. The ones who needed her attention more than they admitted. She had never noticed Noah Reed like this before. Not properly. At first, it irritated her, the way people spoke to him now. The way Lily trusted him enough to stand a little closer, to hand him her bag without thinking, to let him walk her to class, as if she were fragile. Emma watched it happen from a distance. Lily wasn't fragile. She had survived Daniel's collapse, survived being pulled into something she hadn't chosen, survived Emma. And yet Noah treated her like she might break. Emma hated that. She hated the way Noah adjusted his pace to Lily's without making it obvious. The way he lowered his voice when speaking to her. The way his hand hovered near her elbow when the corridor got crowded, never touching, just ready. Like Lily needed protecting. Like Lily mattered. Emma started noticing Noah everywhere after that. How he arrived early and left late. How he always chose the seat that gave him a clear view of Lily. How his attention sharpened when Lily looked tired or distracted. And slowly, against her will, Emma realized something else. Noah didn't look at Lily the way boys usually did. There was no hunger in it. Only care. That realization burned. The confrontation happened on an ordinary afternoon. Emma saw Noah handing Lily a bottle of water near the courtyard, speaking softly, his back turned to the rest of the world. Something in her snapped. Does she need a caretaker now? Emma said, her voice cutting cleanly through the air. Noah turned. Lily stiffened immediately. I'll see you in class, Lily murmured, already stepping away. Emma watched her leave before turning back to Noah. You're always hovering, Emma continued. It's embarrassing. Noah studied her for a long moment. Then he laughed. Not amused, not loud. Just surprised. I've never met someone so cheap, he said calmly. The word hit her harder than cruel ever had. Cheap. Emma echoed. Yes, he replied. You manipulate people without even caring enough to remember them afterward. You use attention like currency. Her chest tightened. I don't manipulate anyone. Noah stepped closer. You destroyed someone and called it a misunderstanding, he said. I've never seen someone this low, this casually selfish. You are a rich and spoiled brat who only knows how to hurt others and how to live in parents' money. Emma opened her mouth. Nothing came out. For the first time, words failed her completely. Noah didn't wait for a response. He turned and walked away. From that day on, Emma changed. Not deliberately. Instinctively. She stopped inserting herself into conversations. Stopped laughing too loudly. Stopped correcting people when they spoke. She became quiet. So quiet that people noticed. Teachers asked if she was unwell. Friends asked if she was bored. Emma answered politely and kept her distance. She did her work. Ate alone more often. Watched more than she spoke. And Noah noticed. He noticed the silence. He noticed how she no longer followed Lily with sharp eyes. How she no longer interfered. But something about her hadn't changed. The way her face flushed when Noah stood close to Lily. That was still there. He was walking beside Lily one morning when he felt it. That familiar awareness, sharp and unmistakable. He glanced up. Emma stood across the hallway, pretending to search through her bag. Her jaw was tight. Her ears were red. Noah slowed his steps deliberately. He leaned closer to Lily, speaking softly. Emma's fingers clenched around the strap of her bag. Something warm curled in Noah's chest. Amusement. Not cruelty. Curiosity. He tested it again the next day, standing just a little closer, lowering his voice, letting his attention stay visibly with Lily. Every time, Emma reacted the same way. She looked away too late. Her posture stiffened. Color bloomed across her face like a betrayal. Noah didn't mention it. He just smiled to himself. Emma hated herself for it. She hated that her body reacted before her mind could stop it. Hated that Noah had somehow become the one thing she couldn't control. She told herself it was irritation, that she simply didn't like being ignored. But irritation didn't feel like this. This felt like being exposed. One afternoon, Emma caught Noah watching her. Not Lily. Her. Their eyes met. Neither looked away. Noah's expression wasn't mocking. It wasn't kind either. It was knowing. Emma felt her breath catch. He smiled, just slightly, and then turned back to Lily. Emma stood frozen long after they left. They never spoke about it, but they began to watch each other. Emma noticed Noah when he wasn't looking, the way his shoulders relaxed when he laughed, the way he grew quieter around Lily now, less intense, as if something in him were settling. Noah noticed Emma when she thought she was invisible, the way she lingered at doorways, the way her eyes softened before she remembered herself. They existed in parallel, close, untouched, unspoken, and for the first time in Emma Clark's life, she wanted something she didn't know how to take.